there's currently a deepening disconnect between Darvin Ham and the Lakers locker room. 6 sources with direct knowledge of the situation say people are raising questions about the head coach's standing. And with that, I ask you, does letting go of Darvin Ham fix any of the Lakers' problems? What do you feel like around that question?
I mean, the Lakers, they've had this thing going back to Vogel in the first Westbrook year where, like, if you actually go, like, through a lot of the teams, right, most teams will have a lineup at this point that has, like, 500, 600 possessions, right? Like, they have a lot of cohesion. This has been a thing for, like, this is, like, 3 years running out for the Lakers where, like, they never have a lineup that has a lot of play time. Because I know the thing with the Lakers we've been hearing a lot is, like, we've been injured. And it's like LeBron's been playing. Davis has been playing. Like, me and you both had them as all-stars. You had them both as all-star starters. I think Davis is worthy of being an all-star starter. Like, the team should be better. But, like, they are stating Cam Reddish. And I know, like, I think for a lot of people, like, maybe who haven't been watching as much, you're still in football mode. It's like you saw Cam Reddish in the in-season tournament hitting, like, a dagger 3. But, like, the guy can't shoot.
Yeah.
The guy's defense also was like really peaking high level stuff earlier. Like that's not really him, his whole body of work. Like I think, I don't know. I guess it's with Ham. I can see both sides of the, like, what is a new coach going to do that is really going to change things? I mean, like, I thought benching Reeves, like, it kind of made sense. Like, we need to boost the bench unit. But at the same time, it's like, we know the best version of this team is Reeves, LeBron, Davis. And it kind of, we talked about this with Malone like 2 minutes ago. Is like, is there something to just, like, it's okay to lose your bench minutes if your starters just are destroying the other team consistently? And it's like, I don't know. I think, yeah, I mean, I guess there's nothing I see from Ham that makes me feel like he's really, really worthy of being kept. But at the same time, I also don't know necessarily what Ham, like, I don't really know what I would do right now to immediately alleviate a lot of the issues the Lakers are having.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think you hit the nail on the head with the one, like, X's and O's thing that I can kind of see that I would give a knock on Darvin Ham and his decision making is, you know, putting that commitment in D'Angelo Russell instead of a guy that seems to be a clear piece of your future in Austin Reeves. But I don't know. I've been saying it all season. This, like, greatness that we've seen from LeBron and Anthony Davis and the health that we've seen from them, everything about their about the whole Lakers tenure would tell us that there's going to be a portion of time where these guys aren't on the floor. And the floor already is pretty low with them on the floor. What happens when they're not out there?
Yeah, I mean,
and there's a new head coach I wouldn't fire him just because that's almost admitting that we're a mess.
I think it's interesting because I feel like, I don't know how Suns fans feel about Vogel, but I didn't like when the Lakers dropped Vogel personally. Like, I don't know what Vogel was supposed to do with that Westbrook roster. Like, that team was a disaster roster-wise. Like, I don't know what any coach was supposed to do with that unless, like, Eric Spoelstra was like, hey, we're going to play a 5-0 zone and invent a new way to play basketball. Like, you know, like, but, like, with the Lakers, right, they're 26th in three-point percentage, right? This team cannot shoot. Like, the best shooter on the team is LeBron James, which, like, that's happened. The Heat were in 2012. The best shooter on the team statistically was LeBron. He was actually ahead of Ray Allen that one year. But, like Gabe Vincent, you know, they're waiting for him to come back. Gabe Vincent, the last 2 years, shot 36% and 33%. Like, I don't know. It's not any different than, like,
he's not going to save your life.
It's not different than, like, a D'Lo, right? And, like, it is tough because it's like, I feel like Reeves is, like, kind of the guy when you're watching Laker games where it's like, oh, he has the open three, he's going to make it. But it's also like Reeves gives you a lot of value from his on-ball stuff. And it's like, it's nice that he can play on the ball or off the ball with LeBron, but it's like, I feel like this team needs shooting, like real shooting. And I think that's kind of the real crux of the issue because they generate open looks.
Yeah, they do. They
and I think that's a lot of the times the problem with a lot of the times we analyze coaches in all sports where players don't execute and then the coach will get blamed.
We're looking at results instead of process.
Yeah, like, weird comparison, but, like, my football team, the Giants, like, earlier in the season, there was this, like, fire the offensive coordinator. And then every week, like, PFF will put out, like, the all 22. And it's like, wow, look at how there's 3 tight ends who are wide open down 20 yards down the field. Why didn't the quarterback throw to them? And then people are like, fire the offensive coordinator. And it's like, Is it the offensive coordinator's fault when guys are getting wide open? And with the Lakers too, is like, if whatever Darvin's doing is resulting in like LeBron generating wide open looks for guys, like, is that Darvin or is that just like Taurean Prince needs to hit a fucking 3-point shot?
Yeah. So are you saying that the Lakers are more like the Giants than the Steelers?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For any team that's ever contending and the year has turned over, I would never suggest firing your coach at this point because it pretty much never, ever, ever works out. Like we've seen I would have to dive into the history of it, but it usually doesn't turn out. For me, I would say just ride out this year, see how it goes. Hope that you don't get injured. Hope that you sneak into the play-in and you can go up against one of these really, really young rosters in the playoffs and finally get rid of Rob Pelinka. I'm sorry. The Lakers were churning out awesome young, like diamonds in the rough from long before Pelinka came into the fold. They were finding weird guys like, you know, a Kyle Kuzma or a Jordan Clarkson late in the draft. I think there's just something about the Lakers scouting department that will be there with or without Rob Pelinka. But at the end of the day, we just haven't seen Rob Pelinka be able to deliver on a true vision that has worked for this Lakers roster and franchise around LeBron and AD.
Yeah, you know, like I think the one thing though that the reason I don't love talking about coaches for like, you know, basketball is like it's really often hard to identify like from the outside like, okay, they're doing this wrong, but like I think they should let him go if you're in a situation where like you lose the respect of LeBron James and Austin Reeves and it's like, okay, something has to give, right? Like if LeBron James doesn't gel with you, like that's the whole team.
Yeah, I see that. But then you also get into this scenario where you're the Lakers, you still have LeBron and AD, and now you've got a assistant coach as your head coach. So I don't know, like, is it better to just have LeBron as your coach?
Well, we talked about this after our East All-Stars pod, but it feels a little Blatty, David Blatty, where it's like, yeah.
My thing that I don't know. They had such a great run
last
postseason that I'm really surprised this is happening. It seemed like there was a good rapport with Darvin Ham and the team, and they really ran back a lot of the roster.
That's why I am still kind of like, I know there's no reason to be high on this team. I'm still pretty high on the Lakers.
Oh, there's two reasons to be high on this team.
I think Reeves is good enough to say like he's a third reason to be high on this team. Like he's a really good on-ball creator. His foul drawing has gone down a lot, and that was a big part of his game last year. So either he's got to figure out how to be more efficient without having to draw the fouls, or he's got to learn how to draw fouls again. But like, I mean, that happens though, right? When the book's out on you, when it's like, okay, stop going for his pump fakes. Like that's the thing with Reeves. I've watched enough Laker games where it's like, if he has the ball in that left wing and he takes 3 dribbles and gets to the elbow, like he's going to pump. He's not even going to shoot. You know, he's going to pump. Like Reeves needs to diversify his scoring game a little bit more.
Yeah. The interesting thing, I guess, just kind of putting a bow on this little Lakers tangent is I think going into the year, people imagined this Lakers team probably roster construction wise closer to being what the Timberwolves ended up being. And they're really built more like how the Suns are built. It's 3 guys and then a bunch of minimum dudes that if they're hitting their shots, then you're probably going to blow out a team. And if they're not, you know, it's dependent on your stars and on the back of your stars to win these games.
Yeah, I also don't want to be too prisoner of the moment because I'm just going to go over some. So the Lakers are 2-8 in their last 10 now. And that includes a loss to the Timberwolves, who are really good, the Thunder, who they actually beat, the Celtics, another Timberwolves, and the Heat, who I know aren't world beaters, but like Heat can beat anybody. I don't know. I mean, they lost to the Knicks too. I mean, it's not. They did play a lot of good teams in this 2-8 stretch. But again, they also did lose to the Spurs. That's really bad. They also lost to the Bulls. That's pretty bad. They didn't just lose to the Bulls. They lost by 20 something to the Bulls. Like upcoming, they've got Memphis, Clippers, Toronto, Suns, Jazz, Thunder, Dallas, Brooklyn. I mean, the way I feel like it always is, like if a team goes 2-8, they're almost due for regression.
Yeah,
like
positive regression. My thing is just their offense it
sucks.
Like 24th offensive rating in the NBA. Like it's not a small sample size at this point that their offense is a stick in the mud.
Yeah, it's not good. Which is crazy when you have two players who are playing so good on offense.
Yeah. Yeah, like LeBron is still like averaging almost career highs in terms of efficiency across the board. Like if you would have told Pelinka and Ham that you were going to get this LeBron season, it's like, great, we're the first seed. This is amazing.
Yeah, I wonder like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's like the big trade is what everyone is like been wanting for this team. And I wonder if it's like the big trade is really more for like a Cam Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, if you could get a Cam Johnson, that would be great.
I don't know the Lakers assets off the top of my heads, but like, yeah, like no one really knows what the Nets want to do, but like Cam Johnson or even a Dorian Finney-Smith, like just another guy where it's like.
The tough thing about the Lakers asset pool right now is basically it's the same scenario that they were in last year. They've got 2 picks super, super far in advance that they can kind of play with, but that's super risky when you have a team built around LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and then the young player that they have is Reeves.
And Reeves isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, Reeves isn't going anywhere unless it's for like some legit star. Did you see all the talk on Simmons' podcast about a Draymond Green to
no,
the Lakers?
They're not trading. Draymond Green would be an
got the contracts.
Awful trade for the Lakers.
He went to LeBron James's birthday party dressed up like a disco guy.
Yeah, so Gabe Vincent isn't going to be back for 8 weeks.
At this point, I'm just like,
I mean,
assuming Gabe Vincent is never coming back.
The one thing that as like a Heat fan, I'm like, if you do get April, May, Gabe Vincent, yeah, that really changes this team. I just don't think they're going to get that guy in a season where he's had multiple surgeries and we haven't seen that body of work outside of a small sample of playoff games last year.
Yeah, no, you can't assume that you are going to get that guy at all. But yeah, I mean, like Christian Wood, Jackson Hayes, Cam Reddish, Rui Hachimura has looked like Wizards Rui Hachimura for this season. Max Christie, like take it or leave it. Jalen Hood-Schifino. We can stop talking about the Lakers now, but it's just a really interesting conversation. I think if they weren't the Lakers and if they had a star that wasn't LeBron James, but close to the same level, the conversation around them would be a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, so they're the 10 right now. They're actually in danger of letting the Warriors pass them for that last play-in spot. So I just feel like they're due for positive regression. Like in a normal NBA year, like the worst team in the league is going through 2-8 stretches, and like I know the Pistons and Spurs and Wizards have kind of clouded our view of what a normal bad team is, but usually the worst team in the NBA has like 18, 20, 22 wins. And that means they're winning like 1 out of every 4 games.
Especially in the latter half of the season.
Yeah.
When like teams kind of start giving up.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like normally the worst team in the league is going 2-8 in their last 10. And it's like just no analysis other than like going 2-8 is a statistical outlier. I know it's like not fun to talk about humans interacting with objects that way, but like it's a statistical outlier. Like when the best team in the league goes 10-0, that's also a statistical outlier, right? It's like the reason we talk about things in per 100 possessions is like everything is a randomized. I don't know. I'm getting too reductive about it, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of like the Mavs last year. We talked about this coming into it. It's like their defense was so bad last year after the trade that it was like, even if they didn't draft Lively, it's just statistically, there's no way it was going to be that bad again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if they lose to the Grizzlies, we'll do a full where is LeBron James getting traded podcast. But
yeah.